In this video, I'm going to be making Cyrilla Duprel's secret wedding cake recipe. This is from Somebody Is Going to Die If Lily Beth Doesn't Catch That Bouquet, the official Southern Ladies Guide to Hosting the Perfect Wedding. Normally, I would start off by showing you the ingredients we're going to use, but first I'm going to actually read you the blurb from the book and you will see why. It says, a stalwart of Greenville's Catholic Carnival, a yearly fundraiser for the parochial school, Cyrilla Duprel always helped with the cake booth. It featured an array of homemade cakes that you could win by spinning the wheel. She also baked wedding cakes. Most caterers would die before sharing their recipes for wedding cakes. Mrs. Duprel, who has retired to Nashville, graciously shared hers. And what is her super secret ingredient? Uncle Dunky's white cake mix. Yes, you got that right, Duncan Hines. Lots and lots of Uncle Dunky, as the average wedding cake weighs between 70 and 100 pounds, or just about what the bride weighs if her starvation has paid off, and is 5 tiers tall. But Mrs. Duprel did develop her own icing. So, for the cake part of this recipe, we are going to be going by the box of Duncan Hines classic white cake mix. But then the difference is going to be when the different ingredients are going to come into play when we get to the icing part. So, if you want to skip to that part, you can. So, according to the package of Duncan Hines, you want 1 cup of water, which we have here. You need 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and you need 3 large egg whites. And the reason you don't use the yolks in this is because it's a white cake, and if you use those yolks, it'll make it yellow color, and you want it to stay white. So basically, we're going to pour all of those ingredients in our mixer, and if you have a hand mixer, that's perfectly fine. And we're going to mix these together. I preheated my oven to 350, and I have 2 round cake pans over here. They look like this. And I'm going to spray them with Baker's Joy because Baker's Joy has flour built in. And so I'm going to go ahead and spray. I'm going to make a 2-layer cake. So I'm going to spray these 2 pans with Baker's Joy while my mix is going over here. Now I'm going to try to pour this as evenly as I can into my 2 pans, which I'm not good at. I just eyeball it. It says for 2 8-inch pans, you bake it for 24 to 28 minutes on 350. I'm going to bake it for right in the middle. I'm going to go for 26 minutes, and then we'll be back. So this is how they look after 26 minutes exactly. I'm going to let them lay here. They smell really, really good. I'm going to set my timer for probably a ½ an hour and let them cool. But then I'm going to go ahead and start making my frosting because it takes a little while to make it, and well, the blending time takes, the mixing time takes a little bit. So I'll probably, like I said, leave these for ½ an hour, and then we'll come back and we'll start on the frosting. So for my cakes, I'm going to actually turn them out onto this pan so that they can cool quicker. And using that Baker's Joy, it comes right out. Looks great. So now it's time for the special icing. This is what makes this cake a special wedding cake. You need 1 package or 2 pounds of Domino's confectioner's sugar. They're saying sifted. I don't sift anything, and nobody has ever, somebody left a comment saying nobody's ever complained that they didn't like something because it wasn't sifted, because you can't tell. But this is a 2-pound bag, so we're going to use that whole bag. We're going to use a ½ teaspoon of each of these, which sounds like a lot, but that's what they want. You want orange. These are oils. They're flavorings is what they are. So we have orange, pineapple, lemon, raspberry, and then we have almond extract, and then we have clear vanilla flavoring. You also need either a half a cup pet milk or water, and then you need 1.5 cups of Crisco shortening, which is 2 of these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour this whole bag of powdered sugar in our mixer. And then we're going to add our liquids. We're going to add either, if you're going to use milk, add your milk. If you're going to use water, add your water. And then we're going to add our half a teaspoon of each of these flavorings. I might have made just a little mess. Okay, I cleaned up the powdered sugar where I messed up. And now you want to add your water. And then, you know what? I think I'll go ahead and add these now before I even start. You add a half a teaspoon of each one. So that's your almond. And then clear vanilla. Wow, you can really smell that almond extract. It's very potent stuff. And now I have the orange. And pineapple. And what's this one? Lemon. It wants to come out, it doesn't want to come straight out on some of these. And then the raspberry. That's a pretty color. Seems like that would dye a certain color, you know? Here you're buying clear vanilla, and it seems like that raspberry would definitely color it, but it didn't say anything about clear raspberry. So I'm gonna mix these together. Going to add our Crisco, and this is going to take a little time. You can set a timer if you want on your phone, but it wants you to mix this Crisco in for 15 minutes. Look how fluffy this gets after 15 minutes. We actually timed it. We did scrape it down one time in between, but it gets so fluffy, and Kevin was just saying, he said, I bet a lot of things would get this fluffy if we had the patience, but we usually, if it doesn't specifically give us a time, then we're just real quick about it. So I actually would rather have a time and then have the best outcome. So I'm just gonna take this, scrape it off here.
You know what that smells like?
What?
You know that fruits gum? That
the fruit stripes?
Zebra on it?
The fruit
stripes
right?
gum. That smells like fruit stripes.
Ah, okay. So I'm just going to move this, one of these. These are cooled off now, so it's the perfect time. And a lot of people would probably put parchment around here so that it wouldn't be messy, but...
I also have an icing spoon knife if you wanted to use it.
I could, yeah. I do have a, let's see. Usually I just use a regular knife, but yeah, we can definitely do an icing knife.
How's it spreading?
It's nice, it's very nice. I'm sure some people would put this in the refrigerator too, but now it did not say anything about putting it in the refrigerator. So honestly, there's no more directions. So
I don't know if you put that in the refrigerator, it'd get hard.
Hard, okay. Well, I've heard of some people, they just like dirty ice them to where you can see the cake through it.
Yeah.
And then they put the whole cake in the refrigerator.
So you don't get crumbs off of it.
Right. But honestly, this is firm enough to where I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm going to get it a little bit thicker because I think I have enough to do that.
There's quite a bit of frosting.
Yeah, and I'm always afraid to use too much. And then I end up with having a lot at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit thicker now and take my chances. Really doesn't say anything else. It just says, in all likelihood, you will not make your own wedding cake. Even if you do know Mrs. Duprel's secret. So even if you know this, you probably won't make your own wedding cake.
No, you can make party cakes.
But yes, you could.
I like a good Duncan Hines cake mix.
Okay. So this is just going to be a regular white cake, but it's that frosting, the icing.
I'll tell you what, whipping it up that much really does make it smooth.
I love the flavors. I was very skeptical when I read in the instructions to put all those flavors together because I've never heard of anyone doing that before. And I literally read it 10 times.
Just to make sure. Then I read it again.
And then Kevin read it because he didn't believe me.
It's not that I didn't believe her. It just seemed weird.
It does seem odd to combine all those flavors together. But it actually really works. And how would you describe that flavor? It's fruity.
It smelled like, I got a different take on it now. It smelled like that fruit stripe gum. But when you eat it, it actually reminds me of bubble gum.
Ah, okay.
See if you think bubble gum when you're eating that, and see if that doesn't kind of remind you of bubble gum. Pink bubble gum. It still's a little fruity though, but pink bubble gum keeps coming up too.
I can see where you're saying that.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
It's very sweet though. I love the texture. It's very smooth.
I do too. The texture's perfect. I do love the flavor. I think it works. It's very nice. It's different. It's not, I don't think it's anything I've ever had before.
Definitely.
We've had wedding cake, many times. We've gone
Just
to
vanilla.
weddings. And yeah, it's usually just vanilla. It usually does not have any flavoring in it whatsoever. So I'll be curious to know, has anyone ever combined the flavors like this? Was it the same ones? Is this like a trade secret we don't know about? But if you did have a flavor wedding cake, that would be fun to know too, because everybody can comment below and say what their wedding cake was. Ours was just vanilla, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's white cake with vanilla frosting.
White on white. So
it was literally.
Yeah, but it works.
The traditional wedding.
And you know what? The thing is unfortunately, it's not just about you. It's about all the people in attendance, and you have to think what's going to be pleasing to everybody, not just me. And so usually you might not get your favorite because
I mean, if I had my choice, I'd have a German chocolate wedding cake.
yeah, which would be fine for me too. But then you're going to get those people who don't want chocolate, who don't want coconut. And so, yes, and kids, you know, the kids in our family aren't going to eat it. Our own children won't eat it. So, yeah, you just have to think about everybody else. But
I think that's awesome. And it's a very good recipe for frosting. You can make that frosting for any cake, anytime.
I agree.
Because it's really good, and just you got to whip it up for a while. It takes a little while.
15 minutes, but it worked, and it was smooth as it could be. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.